Hello everyone. We're now going to continue with our Learning the Industry series, and we're going to talk about qualified, mid-qualified, and non-qualified as it relates to tiered pricing. Let's take a look. All right, so first off, we're going to start with different card types. Please keep in mind that we're not referring to the actual card brands like Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. We're going to talk about the differences between personal cards, which would be a regular credit card issued to a consumer with no points or rewards attached to it. There's also rewards cards. These would come with points or Sky Miles, some sort of a reward that you can actually redeem for goods or services. These go to a more expensive interchange category because the merchant is the one actually paying for those rewards. There's also enhanced cards, business cards, which would be issued to a business, corporate cards, which would be issued to a corporation, purchasing cards, government cards, and international cards. These are going to help determine which interchange category the transaction will ultimately run at. There's also some miscellaneous factors that we'll discuss as we go through. Let's talk about AVS for a little bit. So AVS stands for Address Verification Service. This is recommended on all keyed accounts to prevent downgrades. It's a phenomenal way to make sure that transaction runs at the lowest possible interchange category. When a card is entered manually, the address must be verified to detect possible fraud. Definitely a nice feature. The importance of AVS. So any keyed merchant, whether you're keyed face-to-face, Moto, or internet, should be entering this information on all sales. AVS is going to require the street number, the zip code of the customer's billing address, the order number, and then this is going to actually be built into the terminal's file prior to downloading. So your merchant's terminal will prompt them for this information, making it easy to remember. If they have a virtual terminal or e-commerce setup, that's going to be written into that as well. And as long as the information is entered on a keyed account, it will stay qualified or fall to the best rate possible, even if the information does not match the billing address. It's just the fact that the clerk or consumer made the attempt to enter that. And keyed face-to-face merchants should try to get manual imprints with every sale if they can. This will only be required in the event of a cardholder dispute, but it's obviously very nice for the business owner to win those disputes. Having that printout will help immensely. So what's going to make a swipe sale fall to a qualified rate? There's going to be card present, so that means the consumer is there swiping that credit card through the payment terminal. This is going to be swiped, as we just said, so the magnetic strip is going to be read by the terminal. With the EMV switch coming up, that's going to mean that the magnetic chip, the actual EMV chip, was inserted into the machine and read. The customer signature should be obtained at the point of the sale, whether that is on an electronic device with signature capture like Genius or just on a paper receipt. The transaction also must be settled within 24 hours, so the merchant must batch within 24 hours of accepting that transaction. And the transaction was either a personal, debit, or credit card. If that card is a regulated debit card, it will follow the qualified credit rate on 3-tier pricing, or the qualified offline debit rate on 4-tier pricing. That's known as split credit and debit. So what makes a swipe sale fall to a mid-qualified rate? All of the rewards and credit and debit cards, those are going to fall to that mid-qualified rate. Some corporate, international credit and debit cards will as well. In the event a card is manually entered, the magnetic stripe is unreadable, but has matching AVS information, it will fall to the mid-qualified. And of course, if the transaction or batch is settled between 24 to 48 hours, it would fall to the mid. So what would make a swipe sale fall to the non-qualified rate? Any business credit or debit cards, those are going to fall to the non. Government credit and debit cards, purchasing credit and debit cards, corporate and international credit and debit cards that didn't fall to the mid-qualified. And if the card is manually entered with the magnetic stripe unreadable, but has no AVS information or it doesn't match. Very important on a swiped account to note that that information must match. If it doesn't, it will fall to the non-qualified rate. And of course, if the transaction or batched is not settled within 48 hours of accepting that transaction, it will fall to the non. So what would make a keyed sale fall to a qualified rate? So we're talking keyed accounts now, your keyed face-to-face, Moto, and internet. Any personal credit or debit card that's manually entered, AVS is entered with an order number, and the transaction or batch is settled within 24 hours. What would make it fall to a mid-qualified on a keyed account? This could be a rewards credit or debit card. The transaction or batch is settled between 24 to 48 hours after accepting the transaction, and many rates will usually fall directly to non-qualified for Moto and internet accounts, as those are viewed as the highest risk. So let's see what would make a keyed sale fall to the non-qualified rate. If the AVS information is not entered at all, it would go directly to non. Also, any business, corporate, government, enhanced, or international credit or debit cards. And if the transaction or batch was not settled within 48 hours, those would fall to the non. And if the transaction or batch was not settled within 48 hours, those would fall to the non. To learn more about this, check out the archive trainings we have on cbheadquarters.com, pricing tips and quoting essentials, primary fees on a merchant account, and the advantages of tiered pricing. You can find those all under the training tab and then archived webinars. And that is what we have for you today. So huge thank you to everyone on the call. For any assistance, just reach out to us. You can reach sales and support at 1-800-528-0884 at extension 2, or email us at cbsupport@cayenne.com. Thank you so much and have a phenomenal day.